to America. Donald Trump was on national TV as a part of the presidential debate with Hillary Clinton. And Hillary said, "You don't pay taxes." And he didn't deny it. He said, "That's because I'm smart." You can go and look it up on YouTube. He said in front of the whole world, while trying to become the president of the United States, that the reason he doesn't pay taxes is because he's smart. It was at that moment that I said, I know I'm smarter than Donald Trump. I know it. I know I am. There's not a single doubt in my mind I am. But I didn't know why he could be so brazen. So I said, obviously he is smarter than me because he's more brazen about it, so I have to change that. So I instantly went and started looking up the tax code. You can just go and look up the IRS tax code. It's all public record. When I went and looked up the IRS tax code, I started to see terms like depreciation. I started to see terms like offsets, write-offs, all of these terms that many of us have heard about, but most of us know nothing about. Mr. Lewis, this gentleman is the son of the assistant pastor over at Hope Church, and I've been doing the workshops over there for about 4 months, and he came up to me after a session and said, "Hey, who does your media?" And I said, "I got nobody." He said, "That's what I do." And I said, "Perfect, send me a text message, and then we will have you do it. Because I'd much rather you do it instead of somebody else." So Mr. Lewis sends me a text message right after. "Great job. That's what someone, a young entrepreneur, should do." And then, because I'm a little busy, I didn't respond right away. It was the next day. I had to spend time with family. So the next day I sent him a text message, and then Mr. Lewis was supposed to have came to the session at the Kroc Center in order to start media. Mr. Lewis, did you show up?
No, sir.
He didn't show up. Mr. Lewis, did you respond to the text message?
No, sir.
He didn't respond to the text message. And Mr. Lewis, he wasn't giving me back. Mr. Lewis, why didn't you respond to the text message?
Because I had a bad phone.
He had a bad phone. Mr. Lewis had a bad phone. And we've had bad phones before, right? Yeah. Stop running like we always go ball your whole life. Come on now. You're telling me you've never been in hard times as a young person? How old are you, Mr. Lewis?
I'm 21.
21. At the age of 21, life was hard. I was riding a bicycle 14 miles because I didn't have a car. It's real life. Promise you. Through the woods, Old Plain Trail, Chicago Heights, New Lenox. Things have changed. But it hasn't changed so much where I can't remember what it was like to be 21 and the fact that I would have a bad phone. And the reason he had a bad phone is because he did not understand the tax code. And that's our problem. Because Mr. Lewis has a business. His business is media. He doesn't know he has a business, but because he decided to come and partner with me, he now has a business. Because I understand ownership. So the check that he's going to receive is not going to be made out to him, it's going to be made out to his LLC. And now, whatever I pay him, he would normally have to pay taxes on. But he won't have to pay any taxes because he's going to take the money, he's going to use it to buy a new phone, and that is a depreciable asset, which means he pays nothing in taxes. This is how our system is set up. This is how Donald Trump pays no taxes. You ever heard of Mar-a-Lago? You ever heard of Donald Trump spending some time there? Right now, that ensures he pays no taxes because Donald Trump decides to do business at Mar-a-Lago. So every single expense that's associated with Mar-a-Lago is a tax write-off. We have to change our mindset. We've been conditioned. Even our conditioning has been conditioned. Because I own a business, I now attribute all of the expenses associated with the business to the business. This microphone I'm talking on, tax write-off. This projection screen, tax write-off. That projector, the laptop, my cell phone, this Snapple T. All of it is a tax write-off. And a lot of people get bogged down in the weeds and they say, well, hold on. Your Robinhood account isn't in the name of your LLC. So how can you take a write-off when you're getting money through Robinhood? It's not how this works. When a client comes in and pays me, they're not paying in my name, they're paying in the business name. But when I go to file my taxes, I tell the IRS all the money that I made. That's the input, the revenue. And then, because the LLC is associated with my social security number, I now start to deduct all of the expenses. It doesn't matter where the income comes. What matters is how do I list my adjustable gross income? How do I diminish my adjustable gross income? So, let's say that I made $700,000 in a year, which is a pretty good year, right? I didn't have to just figure out how do I spend $700,000. It's a good problem to have. And yet, when we start talking about these dividends, the only thing people can focus on is taxes. So, how we take care of the taxes is we spend our money. You go spend it, but you get ownership first. Everyone who has any aspiration to travel down this journey should have a business. Have a client, and it's actually Miss Grant. Is Miss Grant here? She didn't make it. Sorry. See you next time. See you in probate court, Miss Grant. So, you're here. I take that back, Miss Grant. I take that back. Miss Grant. So Miss Grant came into my office, and at which point Miss Grant has lost her husband. And no all, because in spite of the fact that Miss Grant's husband passed before the average age that a black man lives in the country, which is 71, her husband was responsible and had life insurance in place and did almost everything that he needed to do. We just missed one asset, and that's better than a lot of people. In the black community, first asking, does this make me happy? That's the first question you should be asking yourself. Does this make me